In this lecture, we'll learn about what SAP S4 HANA is all about. The topics we'll be covering, they are: what is SAP S4 HANA, extensions to S4 HANA Enterprise Management Procurement, what is the difference between the HANA and S4 HANA, and we'll compare between the ECC and S4 HANA model. So let us start with what is SAP S4 HANA. S4 HANA was launched in February 2015, is the latest product offering by SAP and is a fourth generation of business suite. SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management is a replacement of the existing SAP ECC system. It offers support for all core business processes such as a quotation to cash, procure to pay, and so on. So all the SD, MM, PP modules are there in this S4 HANA. S4 HANA is a shift in SAP's design, and it's not a next release of the traditional ECC system. So that means it's not a release like next release we can have like EHP release, EHP 7, 8, 9, and so on. So it's not a next release, it's a purely new design and it's a purely new product. S4 HANA invented a new Fiori user experience which provides a role-based integrated user experience. So you must be knowing about the Fiori application that you have seen in the previous video. So we'll talk about the Fiori applications in the next few videos. S4 HANA can be connected to different applications in real time to provide real-time data processing and analysis. S4 HANA runs on in-memory HANA database, and S4 HANA provides an instant insight by using a single source of truth, real-time processes, dynamic planning and analysis. Now we'll talk about extensions to SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management Procurement. What that means is we got some add-on modules that we have that are offered by SAP that we can add on the top of the existing HANA procurement system. So they are optional, but we'll just have a look about this. So first is SAP Ariba. SAP Ariba is a world's business commerce network. It combines industry-leading cloud-based applications with the world's largest internet-based trading community to help companies discover and collaborate with a global network of partners. Using the SAP Ariba network, businesses of all sizes can connect to their trading partners anywhere at any time from any application or device to buy, sell, and manage their cash more efficiently and effectively. So this was all about SAP Ariba, which is a separate module provided by SAP company. Then we got another new module which is called Concur. So this is basically a travel and expense management, you can say. So this system offers a mobile solution for travel and expense management. It includes corporate travel booking, expense report automation, reimbursement, audit, and business intelligence, and corporate card integration. Then the third one we have is SAP Fieldglass. So SAP Fieldglass provides a cloud-based vendor management system to manage contingent workforce and services procurement programs. So that's all about the extension of the procurement modules. Now we'll talk about what is the difference between S4 HANA and HANA. Now this is a very common ask. Even if you can check on Google that question is asked a lot of time, that new people they get confused between HANA and S4 HANA. So let us understand what's the difference between HANA and S4 HANA. But in simple words, HANA is a database. S4 HANA is a new product, is a new ERP system on HANA database. So let us have a look about this comparison. So S4 stands for Business Suite for 4 is an application on HANA database. So HANA is basically database and S4 is the application. S4 HANA, also known as simplified for HANA. If you look at this picture, here this picture is showing you about the database used so far and database used in the current S4 HANA system. So if you look at the first rectangle on the left hand side, that shows you the old SAP products and the releases. So basically they started with earlier with, say, in 2000, early 2000s. So 4.67 was there. Before that there was 4.6 as well. So let's forget about it. So let's start with 4.7. Then we had 2004. Then they released ECC 6 or ERP 6, and there were different version of the system with EHP 1 to 7, and then there was a EHP 8 was the last one, latest one. Now up to EHP 8, any database we should be able to use. For example, we can use Oracle database, we can use IBM database to run this this SAP system. But starting onward from EHP 7 release of the old ECC 6 system, so EHP 7 and EHP 6 were introduced with a new database called HANA Database. So with this HANA Database, that means with EHP 7 and EHP 8, you can use either any database or you can go for the latest HANA Database. So this was just an overlap between the old database and the latest HANA Database. So as I just said, that with EHP 7 and 8, you can use any database, but if you want to use the new launch product, which was Simple Finance, then you must be using the HANA Database. And with EHP 7, SAP launched Simple Finance version 1 and then 2, and then with the EHP 8 they released version number 3. Now with the latest offering from SAP, which is the SAP S4 HANA Enterprise Management, that is offering all the other simplified modules like logistics, procurement, SDMM, production, finance, and all that. So this is based on the HANA Database only. So if any company wants to use the latest SAP S4 HANA version, then it's mandatory requirement to use the HANA Database only. So please carefully look into this picture and look at the databases mentioned at the bottom of this picture. So on the right hand side, the yellow one is showing the HANA Database that is required to run this system. So that's a comparison between the HANA Database or HANA versus the S4 HANA. Now we'll compare between the existing ECC model and the latest SAP S4 HANA model. What's the difference? What the major difference? Now, when we're coming to this point, there are a lot of major points. Many of them are functional, many of them are technical, and all they belong to the different SAP modules as well. Within this video, we'll talk about all the changes that are more relevant to the SAP procurement or the MM module side. So first comparison is that the fully built on the in-memory platform. The latest HANA system is on the in-memory platform. That means all the data is stored in the RAM, in the memory itself. So in the earlier system, data used to be stored in the database, and your screen will go and pick up and fetch the data from the database. But this time the data is stored in the memory itself, and system can quickly change any data or can pull any data. So let's have a more understanding about this. So in memory means all the data is stored in the RAM itself. So for example, if you have a laptop with say 64 or 32 GB RAM, so you can think about it how fast it will be. So this is something like that. It's a big RAM where all the data is stored. No time is wasted in loading the data from the hard disk to RAM. Everything in memory all the time provides quick access to the CPUs for data processing. Then we got ECC versus HANA Database. Now S4 HANA can run only on HANA Database, whereas the traditional ECC can be on any database like Oracle or IBM. Row versus column storage. Now this is a very commonly you ask question that everyone is saying that this new system, new database is the column storage, whereas our old traditional EC system was on the row storage. Now this is a bit technical. I try to make it simplified for the functional consultant to have a basic understanding of what it means. So this column storage basically is not something new. It is very, very old, but it was not used up to the mark before. But now because of we have the faster system on the HANA system, that's why they're using it with the column storage. So let us talk about this, the latest column storage versus the old traditional row storage. Now if you look at this table, you can see in a traditional table, whether you look into any MM table or SD table, or sales order header, or you look at the any purchase order header, purchase order item table. So usually the data is stored like this. For example, you have columns. For example, I'll just give an example here. So you have an order number, you have a country, and then you have product, and then you have value, and you have rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and so on. So they have some data there. For example, order number, country, product, and some dollar value, something like that. And all the tables are filled like this. Now this is the actual data stored in a table. Now what happens is, when you talk about the row table, which is the traditional ECC system, that will store the data in the row stored table. What that means is it will store the data something like this that you can see in the screen here. So it will copy each row and will store them in like a row, that like you can see here we have a row 1, and then next will be row 2, row 3, and row 4, and so on. So that's the old style row stored table. Whereas in the column stored table, what will happen is, so instead of picking all the rows, system will pick all the, say first all the order numbers. So you can see here, first we have all the order numbers, then we have all the countries, then we have all the products, then we have all the values. Now what happens is, when this data is compressed, so after compression, system will remove all the duplicates. For example, from the country there were 2 duplicates, there were 2 Canada here. So system will remove the duplicate one. So here 1 Canada entry is removed, and only 3 entries are left with France, Germany, and Canada. Same with the product. With the product there were 2 breads, so 1 bread will be, the duplicate will be removed, and system will keep only 1. So the rice, bread, and milk will be there, and the last bread will be gone. So same way, if there's any duplication or if there's an entry with more than 1 entry, then system will be removing it. So by removing this, system has saved 2 cells. On the right hand side you can notice that system has saved 2 cells. So that means these 2 cells are blank, there's no data here. That means system has saved some space. Now when you think about SAP tables where there are millions of record, and in big companies there can be billions of record as well. So in that case you can save a huge space within the, when you use the column table store system. So hope this is clear. Now we'll talk about the reduced data footprint. So as you can see in the screen here, so that's a transitional database where you have, say, data is stored in the system with 593 GB space is taken. But when HANA was launched, it was reduced up to 118, and with S4 HANA 42.4 GB, and the same data when we store with the current latest version, it is only 8.4 GB data storage. So you can see it's a big difference when we consumed 593 GB space hard disk, and now only 8.4, just because of the compression, just because of the column storage. So that's your reduced data footprint. Now there's another addition which is more relevant to the MM module, which is the MRP Live is launched with S4 HANA. Now we'll talk more about MRP Live in the later videos, but this is just an overview. So in ECC, MRP runs happen through batch job during the off-peak hours. So mostly during the night time when system is not busy. So we run MRP then as a like an automatic background job. In S4 HANA, there is no need of batch jobs. MRP run can occur in real time by leveraging the power of SAP HANA. So that means we do not need to wait for the night time when system is not busy and run it, so that we're not putting a lot of load on the system. So we can run MRP any time of the day. Because of HANA, it's very quick, very fast, and doesn't put a lot of load on the system. DDMRP runs on so DDMRP is a new thing, we'll talk about it later on. So this is something launched with the Fiori app only, and there's no GUI transaction for DDMRP. So we'll talk more about MRP live later on. New output management in S4 HANA. So in S4 HANA Business Rule Framework Plus, which is known as BRF Plus, replaces the SAP ECC message output management frameworks like SD output control, FI correspondence, FICA print, workbench, CRM, post processing. So they launched something new which is called BRF Plus that will replace the output management. But still, all the other frameworks are still available and can be used, and it's not mandatory to use the new output management. What that means is that all the existing, like for example, if you talk about the SD or MM output configuration, we can still use this. If any company doesn't want to use the new BRF system, then the old system is still available and can be used, and BRF Plus is not mandatory. Single source of truth. So S4 HANA combines data structures of different components such as FI, asset, accounting, CO, COPA, ML, which is material ledger, into a single line item table, which is known as ACDOCA. This is also known as the Universal Journal. This eliminates several aggregates and index tables. So they launched a new table that will reduce the data that is stored in all the other tables and all the aggregation and the index tables. And in the inventory management side, the new table is launched, which is known as MetDoc, that eliminates 26 plus traditional tables. So material documents are stored in MetDoc, but not in the traditional ECC tables. That's another change. Business partner concept in S4 HANA system. So in S4 HANA, customer and vendor master data needs to be maintained, migrated as a business partner. So in the old ECC system, we used to have XK02, XK01 to create vendor, VD or XD01, XD02 to create customers. But everything is now moved to a thing called BP, business partner. So all the vendors and all the customers will be now created as a business partner only. So we'll talk in more details in the later videos. Material master change in S4 HANA. In SAP S4 HANA, material codes can now be extended from 18 to 40 characters. So for example, if in the old ECC system, the maximum length of a material that we can create, I'm not talking about description, I'm talking about the material code length, which was maximum 18. For example, if you want to create a code called say ABCD 1 2 3 4 5, the maximum length we have was 18, but in the new one we can have up to 40 characters length with S4 HANA. Again, we'll talk about it later on in the other videos. ECC GUI versus S4 HANA Fiori apps. So earlier we used to access the system mainly for the end users from GUI only. So all the end users, super users, and all the consultants used GUI in the existing ECC system. But with the new HANA system, all the end users and all the super users will be accessing the Fiori apps, and it's a new design, very responsive. It's a role-based system and very user-friendly. And any newcomer, any new user can start using the apps without a lengthy training. So they needed basically very minimal minimum training to understand the Fiori apps. Whereas as compared to the GUI, if it's a newcomer who had never seen the SAP screen before, he needs a lot of extensive training in order to understand how the SAP system works. But with Fiori, it's much easier, much practical, and much user friendly. So we'll talk more about it again later on. OLTP and OLAP capabilities in S4 HANA. Now, what is OLTP and what is OLAP? Now, OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing, which is our ECC system where all the transactions are happening online in real time. Whereas BW is our OLAP system. What OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing, which is basically used for reporting purpose, the BW system. Now, as we know that with our existing the system with the ECC system, all the data is transferred from ECC to BW overnight, and BW will provide you a lot of different types of reporting, different views and all that. But with S4 HANA, both OLTP and OLAP are within one system. That means all the reports, all the like different views, different reports like we have seen in the BW system, we can run it in real time within S4 HANA. And the big difference is with BW, it was not the real-time data. The data used to be updated overnight. And basically, if I'm looking at the data right now, that was updated last night, but it doesn't show you any real-time data, any real-time change. So when we have the similar BW reports in S4 HANA system, then everything we can see is a real-time. So that's another advantage. Now, with regards to that, it doesn't mean that BW will be obsoleted. BW will still be there because it will be still can be used for a lot of other purposes. For example, a company they can still use it for strategic decision making. For like if a company wants to compare the data in, let's say, last 6 months or last 12 months, and they want to compare the maximum sold products, or they want to compare they want to see the top 10 customers, stuff like that, they still need to use the BW system. So BW still will be there. So some miscellaneous points I mentioned here. There will be no aggregates, total, index and history tables in SAP S4 HANA. Aggregates are created dynamically on the fly based on the line item tables. S4 HANA provides cloud deployment option, whereas this option is not available in the existing or the old ECC system. So what is cloud deployment? It will be shown in the next videos. Settlement management through condition contract in SAP S4 HANA replaces customer rebates through existing SD rebate processing in ECC. So in SD we used to have the rebate system, which is now changed by the latest settlement management. And SAP TM module transportation management and SAP EWM extended warehouse management can be used as standalone system when you're using S4 HANA.
ECC customizing settings versus S4 HANA customizing. Approximately 75% customizing settings are same in S4 HANA as compared to ECC system when you talk about SD, PP and MM functional modules.
So that's all about this overview. We'll talk more about it in the next videos. So just a recap what we learned so far. So in this video we learned about what is SAP S4 HANA. We learned about the extension module that are linked to the procurement module in S4 HANA. Then we talked about the difference between the HANA and S4 HANA, and also we talked about the comparison between the ECC and S4 HANA model. So that's all about this, and thank you very much to watch this.